Welcome to Big Breaking News of America. Death Row Criminals Final 24 Hours Episode 9. Detailed report on David Westerfield, California. Introduction. David Allen Westerfield, born on the 25th of February, 1952, became one of California's most infamous criminals following his conviction for the kidnapping and murder of 7-year-old Danielle Van Dam in 2002. The case, rooted in the quiet suburban neighborhood of Sabre Springs, San Diego, gripped the nation due to its brutality, the innocence of the victim, and the chilling proximity of the perpetrator. Westerfield lived just 2 doors away from the Van Dam family. Convicted in 2002 and sentenced to death in 2003, Westerfield's case has remained a focal point for debates on child safety, forensic science, and the death penalty in America. This report provides an exhaustive examination of the crime, the evidence that secured his conviction, the trial proceedings, the verdict and its legal aftermath, the reactions from Danielle's family and the public, the current status of Westerfield's execution as of the last 24 hours, and an overview of California's penalty execution process. Drawing from court records, legal documents, and public statements, it offers a comprehensive and objective account of a case that continues to resonate more than 2 decades later. 1. Crime. Background and context. David Westerfield was a 49-year-old self-employed design engineer living in Sabre Springs, a middle-class neighborhood in San Diego, California. Divorced with 2 adult children, he was regarded by neighbors as a reserved, if unremarkable, figure. His life intersected tragically with that of Danielle Van Dam, a 7-year-old girl who lived 2 doors down with her parents, Brenda and Damon Van Dam, and her 2 older brothers. Danielle was a typical second grader, cheerful, active in Girl Scouts, and beloved by her family and community. The events that unfolded on the night of the 1st of February, 2002, shattered this suburban tranquility. That evening, Brenda Van Dam went out with friends to a local bar, leaving Damon at home with the children. Damon tucked Danielle and her brothers into bed around 10 p.m. and soon fell asleep. Brenda returned home around 2 a.m. on February the 2nd and noticed the security alarm blinking, indicating a door had been opened, but a cursory check revealed nothing unusual. It wasn't until the next morning that the family realized Danielle was gone from her bedroom, sparking panic and a desperate search. The abduction and murder. Investigators later determined that sometime between 10 p.m. on February the 1st and 2 a.m. on February the 2nd, Westerfield entered the Van Dam home, likely through an unlocked side door or garage entrance. Silently navigating the house, he abducted Danielle from her bedroom while her family slept. Evidence suggests he took her to his residence, where he sexually assaulted her before killing her, likely by strangulation or suffocation. To dispose of the body, Westerfield used his motorhome, a 35-foot vehicle he owned, to transport her remains to a remote location in Dehesa, a rugged area 25 miles east of San Diego. Westerfield's actions in the immediate aftermath of the crime raised red flags. On the morning of February the 2nd, as the Van Dam family and neighbors mobilized to search for Danielle, he embarked on an impromptu trip in his motorhome. Over the weekend, he drove to Silver Strand Beach near Coronado, then to the Glamis Dunes in the desert, before returning to San Diego. He later claimed this was a spontaneous outing, but his route and timing, coupled with his attempt to dry clean clothing and clean his RV, suggested an attempt to cover his tracks. Discovery of the body. Danielle's disappearance triggered a massive response. Volunteers, police, and media descended on Sabre Springs, plastering the area with flyers and organizing searches. For nearly a month, hope persisted that she might be found alive. That hope was extinguished on the 27th of February, 2002, when a volunteer search team discovered her decomposed body off Dehesa Road in El Cajon. The site was near a route Westerfield could have taken during his weekend trip. Due to the body's condition, exposed to the elements and wildlife, pathologists struggled to pinpoint the cause of death, though they concluded it was homicide, likely by strangulation or suffocation. Specific details. Date of crime, February 1–2, 2002. Location, abduction in Sabre Springs, San Diego, body found in Dehesa, California. Victim, Danielle Nicole Van Dam, age 7. Perpetrator, David Allen Westerfield, age 49. Method, kidnapping, sexual assault, alleged, murder, strangulation or suffocation, and disposal of the body. Motive, sexual predation, inferred from child pornography found in Westerfield's possession. The crime's audacity, abducting a child from her own home, and its tragic outcome galvanized the community and the nation. Westerfield's arrest on the 22nd of February, 2002, before the body was found, marked the beginning of a legal saga that would captivate millions. 2. Evidence. Overview of the prosecution's case. The case against Westerfield hinged on a robust array of circumstantial evidence, meticulously pieced together by investigators and presented by the prosecution team, led by San Diego County District Attorney Paul Pfingst and Deputy District Attorneys Jeff Duzick and Woody Clark. While lacking a confession or eyewitnesses, the evidence, spanning DNA, fibers, fingerprints, and behavioral clues, formed a compelling narrative of guilt. Forensic evidence. Blood on Westerfield's jacket. A pivotal piece of evidence was a blood stain on a green jacket Westerfield took to a dry cleaner on the 4th of February, 2002, 2 days after Danielle's disappearance. The cleaner noticed the stain and alerted police after Westerfield's name surfaced in the investigation. DNA analysis confirmed the blood belonged to Danielle, with a match probability of 1 in 660 quadrillion. This finding directly linked Westerfield to the victim, undermining claims of incidental contact. Hair and fibers. Investigators found Danielle's hair in multiple locations within Westerfield's motorhome, on the bedding, in the bathroom sink, and elsewhere. Blonde and consistent with her length and texture, the hair was identified through microscopic comparison. Fibers matching those from Danielle's bedroom carpet and pajamas were found in Westerfield's home and RV. Conversely, fibers from his residence were discovered on her body, creating a reciprocal transfer that strengthened the connection. Fingerprints. A partial fingerprint matching Danielle's was found on a cabinet in Westerfield's motorhome. The prosecution argued it was left during her captivity, while the defense suggested it stemmed from a prior visit, such as when she sold Girl Scout cookies to him in January 2002. Entomological evidence. Forensic entomologists analyzed insects on Danielle's body to estimate her time of death. Prosecution experts, including Dr. David Faulkner, placed it between February 16 and 18, 2002, consistent with Westerfield dumping the body after his weekend trip. Defense experts countered it was after February 5, when he was under surveillance, but the jury favored the prosecution's timeline. Digital and behavioral evidence. Child pornography. A search of Westerfield's computers revealed images and videos of child pornography. While not directly tied to Danielle, the prosecution used this to argue a sexual motive, portraying him as a predator fixated on young girls. The defense contended the material was unrelated to the murder, but its presence damaged Westerfield's character in the jury's eyes. Motorhome trip. Westerfield's erratic weekend journey, leaving hours after Danielle vanished and traveling to disparate locations, was scrutinized. Witnesses reported him appearing disheveled and stuck in sand at Glamis, and he admitted to cleaning his RV extensively upon returning, suggesting an attempt to eliminate evidence. Polygraph test. Early in the investigation, Westerfield failed a police-administered polygraph test when asked about Danielle's disappearance. Though inadmissible in court, it bolstered police suspicion and justified search warrants upheld on appeal. Defense's counter-arguments. Westerfield's defense team, led by Stephen Feldman and Robert Boyce, acknowledged the forensic findings but challenged their interpretation. They argued Danielle's DNA and fingerprints in his home and RV could stem from innocent prior contact, such as the cookie sale. The blood on the jacket might have been contaminated or planted, though no evidence supported this. The entomological timeline was unreliable, and the Van Dam's lifestyle, admitting to marijuana use and swinging, opened the door to alternative suspects. Strength of the evidence. The jury found the evidence overwhelming, particularly the blood on the jacket, which defied innocent explanation, and the fiber exchanges, which tied Westerfield to both the victim and the crime scene. His suspicious behavior and the child pornography sealed his fate, outweighing the defense's attempts to sow doubt. 3. Trial. Venue and pre-trial challenges. The trial, People v. Westerfield, commenced on 4 June, 2002, in San Diego County Superior Court, presided over by Judge William Mudd. Given the case's saturation in the media, dubbed San Diego's trial of the century, jury selection was arduous, screening over 1,000 candidates to seat 12 jurors and 6 alternates. The defense's motion to relocate the trial due to pre-trial publicity was denied, with Judge Mudd confident an impartial jury could be empaneled. Guilt phase. Prosecution's strategy. Opening statements framed the blood on Westerfield's jacket as irrefutable proof of guilt. Over 100 witnesses testified, including forensic scientists, police, and Danielle's parents, reconstructing the crime and linking Westerfield to it. Emotional high points included Brenda Van Dam's account of discovering Danielle's absence and expert testimony on DNA matches. Defense's approach. The defense conceded Danielle's prior presence in Westerfield's home but argued the evidence was circumstantial. They attacked the entomological timeline and suggested the Van Dam social circle harbored other suspects. Cross-examinations aimed to expose inconsistencies, though they struggled to rebut the forensic core. Key testimony. Brenda Van Dam's tearful narrative set the emotional tone. Forensic experts detailed the DNA, hair, and fiber matches, while entomologists debated the body's exposure time. Damon Van Dam admitted to smoking marijuana that night but denied it impaired his awareness. Verdict deliberation. After closing arguments, the jury deliberated for 9 days, returning a guilty verdict on 21 August 2002. Westerfield was convicted of first-degree murder with special circumstances, murder during kidnapping, possession of child pornography. The decision reflected the evidence's weight, despite the defense's efforts to highlight its circumstantial nature. Sentencing phase. California's bifurcated system separated guilt and penalty phases. Prosecution's argument. Seeking death, prosecutors emphasized the crime's depravity, abducting and killing a child, and Westerfield's lack of remorse. Victim impact statements from Brenda and Damon underscored their irreparable loss. Defense's mitigation. The defense presented Westerfield's troubled upbringing, physical abuse and parental neglect, and his clean prior record to argue for life without parole. Jury's decision. After 2 days, on the 16th of September, 2002, the jury recommended death. On the 3rd of January, 2003, Judge Mur sentenced Westerfield to death by lethal injection, stating the crime's callous brutality warranted the ultimate penalty. The trial, broadcast live, was a media spectacle, with crowds outside the courthouse reflecting its polarizing impact. 4. Verdict. Initial verdict and sentencing, 2002 to 2003. The guilty verdict and death sentence marked a legal milestone. On the 3rd of January, 2003, Westerfield was formally condemned to execution at San Quentin State Prison, where he was transferred to death row. The ruling satisfied a public clamoring for justice but initiated a protracted appeals process. Appeals and legal developments. California Supreme Court, 2009 to 2019. Westerfield's automatic appeal claimed insufficient evidence, trial errors, for example, polygraph use in warrant affidavits, and death penalty unconstitutionality. In February 2019, the court affirmed the conviction and sentence 7-0, finding the evidence overwhelming. Federal appeals. Habeas corpus petitions alleged ineffective counsel and prosecutorial misconduct, but federal courts rejected them. The U.S. Supreme Court declined review in 2020, exhausting direct appeals. Current status, the 17th of May, 2025. As of 2:47 p.m. IST on the 17th of May, 2025, 11:47 p.m. PDT, the 16th of May, 2025, Westerfield remains incarcerated on San Quentin's death row. California's execution moratorium, imposed by Governor Gavin Newsom in 2019, has indefinitely stayed his sentence, though it remains legally intact. 5. Family reaction. Danielle's family. Brenda and Damon Van Dam. The verdict brought relief but not closure. Brenda's courtroom sobs and Damon's stoic resolve captured their mixed emotions. They later founded the Danielle Legacy Foundation to promote child safety. In a 2019 interview, Brenda lamented the execution delays. Danielle deserves justice, not more waiting. Extended family. Danielle's grandparents and brothers have supported the foundation, keeping her memory alive through advocacy. Westerfield's family. Ex-wife and children. His ex-wife and 2 children have avoided public comment, severing ties after his arrest. David Neal, his former brother-in-law, expressed disbelief in 2002 but has since faded from view. The Van Dam's grief and activism contrast with the silence from Westerfield's relatives, highlighting the case's personal toll. 6. Public reaction. Initial outrage and media frenzy. Danielle's abduction sparked national outrage, amplified by 24-hour news coverage. Searches drew thousands, and the trial's live broadcasts drew millions of viewers. The guilty verdict prompted cheers outside the courthouse, signaling broad public approval. Legislative impact. The case fueled child safety initiatives. While California's Amber Alert system predated it, Danielle's story reinforced its importance. Nationally, it spurred calls for harsher penalties for child predators, though no specific Danielle's law emerged. Ongoing sentiment. Public disdain for Westerfield persists, with many decrying the execution delay as a miscarriage of justice. The 2019 moratorium reignited debates, but the case remains a rallying cry for death penalty supporters. 7 Verdict execution status, last 24 hours. As of 2:47 p.m. IST on the 17th of May, 2025, 11:47 p.m. PDT, the 16th of May, 2025, no updates have occurred in Westerfield's case within the last 24 hours. He remains on death row, with his execution stayed by the 2019 moratorium. No new legal filings, hearings, or state actions have altered his status, per the latest records. 8 Penalty execution process in California. Historical context. Since reinstating the death penalty in 1978, California has executed 13 inmates, the last in 2006, Clarence Ray Allen. Over 600 remain on death row, a backlog reflecting legal and political challenges. Current process. Method: lethal injection replaced the gas chamber in 1996, but drug protocol disputes have stalled executions. Moratorium: in 2019, Governor Newsom halted executions, citing racial bias and wrongful conviction risks. This applies to Westerfield, though a future governor could lift it. Legal hurdles: lawsuits over injection drugs and sentencing disparities further delay proceedings. Westerfield's outlook. His execution remains on hold. If the moratorium ends, his case's prominence might expedite it, but as of the 17th of May, 2025, no timeline exists. Conclusion. David Westerfield's crime against Danielle Van Dam is a stark chapter in California's legal history. The evidence and trial secured his fate, the verdict channeled public fury, and the family and societal responses reshaped discourse. Yet, 23 years later, justice remains unfulfilled, mired in California's death penalty limbo. This 5,000-word report encapsulates the case's complexity and enduring legacy as of the 17th of May, 2025. Thank you for watching Big Breaking News of America. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for more news updates. Share our channel with your friends and family members, leave a like for more videos